Now let's do our get method. Let's bring up our address space, and we'll have a couple of key value pairs in there, bolts and washers. And then we'll bring in our hash method like that. And we'll say get item washers. So we'll run this through the hash. That gives us an address of 4. We go to that address, we'll loop through the key value pairs till we get to washers, and then we'll return the value. If we have something like get item lumber, that's going to be at the address of 6. We come down here, that doesn't exist. So in this case, we're going to return none. All right, so let's shrink this down and write our method. So we'll say get item, we're going to pass it a key. Then we need to figure out the index for that key. So index equals self.hash. We pass this a key. We run that method. In this case, we're looking for washers, and we know that that's at the address of 4. So we only want to look for washers if there are key value pairs at that address. So we're going to say if self.datamap at that index is not none. So in this case, at the index of 4, we have key value pairs, but at the index of 6, we do not. There's no point in looking for something if the item we are looking for is at the index of 6. Once we know there are items there, now we can loop through them. So we're going to say for I in range of the length of self.datamap at that index. It is not the list that is the data map going 0 through 6. It is this list here that is at the index of 4. And we're looking for washers in this case. So to see if we have a match, we're going to use this if statement. So let's walk through this. If self.datamap at that index, that's this same thing here, which was this list. Then we move to the I. The I is the I from the for loop. In this first iteration, that is 0. So the item that's at the index of 0 at that list is this key value pair. So then we want to look at that key, bolts. That is at the index of 0. So bolts, does that match the key, the one we pass to the method? In this case, the answer is no. So we come back and run the for loop again. So now I is 1, and that is this key value pair. At the index of 0 inside of that key value pair, that is washers. That is a match for the key that we're looking for. So we will return self.datamap at that index at I, but the next index over is the value 50. And then the other possibility, of course, is that we are looking for a key that is not in the hash table. So in that case, we're going to return none. And that is the entire method for getItem. So we'll look at this in a moment in VS Code. We'll create these two key value pairs. And then what we'll do is we'll do a getItem for bolts and washers. That should print out 1400 and then print out 50. Then we'll also do a getItem for lumber, which is not in the hash table. And that should return none. All right, let's flip over to VS Code. Okay, there is our getItem method there. This creates our hash table called myHashTable, and we'll add bolts and washers to the hash table. And then down here, we have 3 print statements, and each one of them is a getItem, one for bolts that should return 1400, one for washers that should return 50, and then one for lumber, which should return none. So I'll run this, and that returns 1400 and 50 and none. And that is our method for get.